Hey Stampin' friends, welcome to the Joyous Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's our Wednesday's kit class. I'm going to hold while I flip and we'll get started. Alright, so today's episode has been pre-recorded so that way I can spend time with my family with doing fun spring break stuff. But feel free to comment. I will come back through and read all of them. And I can't wait to see what you guys think about the cards we're making today. And of course, this is our Wednesday's kit class. So if you've never been here before, how it works is I show you how to make certain cards or gift items. And it becomes a paper kit that you can get for free from me when you order $35 by Friday using this month's hostess code. All right, so today we are using the Paper Pumpkin stamp set for March. This is it's called Here's to You, March 2021. Let me show you what the cards came like that are from the kit. Isn't this box just awesome though? It's different than our usual boxes because they had some special things inside. All right, so the cards that I made with this kit look just like this. It says, here's to you, have these great pieces. This is actually a flat piece right here, but I've attached these trees and the twine and these little spots there too. Super cute card. Then there's this one that's part of the kit design, where it has the happy birthday 3 times, that twine wrapping around, and those cute little birds I've stamped there as well. Both really easy. And of course the kit comes with extra ideas. So this one on the back of the pamphlet will give you even some more things or ideas that you can make alongside. And they even had another piece because this kit this time came with an extra gift, which are these awesome stencils that coordinate with it and a sponge to use to help you with your stenciling. So you can see this fun one right there, and that sunburst one that has the a floral image below and the sun above. That would be a really fun one, and these fun stars behind it as well. All right, so for today we are just going to use the stamp set. Let me show you what that one looks like that came in the kit, and some of the twine as well. Let me see if I can't put it behind something. There we go. Okay, so here are the stamps we'll be using. It says, here's to you is one of the main ones, and the happy birthday. I'm going to go ahead and use a congratulations. Here's to you. This bottom one that says, may your journey through life take you to many new exciting places. And the all the best for, oh, I'm not using that one, but that one is a good one. It says, all the best for a happy, healthy, and prosperous year. So lots of great stamps in this kit that you can use over and over again. And that's what I'm going to show you today, is how you can use these stamps after all of your Paper Pumpkin kit is done. All right, let me go ahead and show you our cards we'll be making. I have 4 different designs and all are similar but different. And I'm featuring the end colors that are getting ready to retire. The end of April, or May 2nd, I believe is the last day that these colors will be part of the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And so I'm using the terracotta tile, the pretty peacock, seaside spray, and rococo rose in our cards today to kind of give a farewell to those colors and to show you fun ways to use them up before you can't use them anymore. All right, let me go ahead and grab everything that we need for our first card. We're going to start with this one right here. Actually, before we get started, I'm going to show you all the things that are extra that I'm using for today's kit. So if you want to know some suggested items to help you, if you want to make more cards like this and you don't have them currently, this is what you could add to your shopping cart. I have the classic label punch. I use that in this card here today. And then I also am using the dies from the Mountain Air. Let me show you what they look like. So our dies in here have this cool mountain cutout and these trees. And I've used both of those to finish off some of the cards today. This coordinates so well with that outdoor mountain idea that I thought this would be a fun one to pair with it. And it requires no stamping when I just use those dies. I also am using these stitch rectangles. You can kind of see they're kind of crazy in here, but I use these ones all the time, and I've used them today to help with us with our layers. And I've used 2 embossing folders. So I have this floral ornate one. That's really awesome. It pops up amazing. And then this is the evergreen folder, I believe is the name of it. And this one is so cool. It gives it a extra 3D look. Let me grab that one so you can see it too. You see how this trees look like those ones are in the background, and this one looks like it's popped up even more. It is a really awesome embossing folder. So I do suggest that one if you want to continue making these cards even after the kit is gone that I send you in the mail. All right, now I think we can get ready. There's a lot to do with these cards today, but they are pretty simple still. So I do have that little spot there for our congratulations. This is for our blending, and we'll stamp here on the background or on the bottom. And then these are the 2 pieces for our card base and that beautiful floral. I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, and that way we'll give it some time to dry. And we'll also glue in a white inside. When you get the kit from me, you'll also get that white piece of paper because I want to make sure you can actually use these cards. That will be very important. And with that darker inside, it's really hard to write. So we want to be able to write a good saying in the inside. So we will insert that, just a basic white, and I just have it matching the same size of the piece on the front of the card. All right, let me glue that, and then we'll just let that dry. Sit that over here. Next, all right, what we need to do is grab our stamps. Let me grab a couple blocks real quick and get these on. These are the Stampin or the paper pumpkin clear blocks that will come with your first kit that you get. This one even says, oh, this one just says Stampin' Up. Some of them will say paper pumpkin on them. But in the kit, we did not use this floral image. So let me get that one out real quick. Maybe. There you go. I put it in the bag so it would be safe, and then I can't even get it out. Of course. All right, there's that fun floral image, and then we need also the congratulations. If you need more birthday, you can totally just use that happy birthday instead. I'm going to go ahead and grab the congratulations because senior year is coming up for lots of little friends, and that will be a fun one for them to have. All right, I'm grabbing the terracotta tile, and I'm going to just go ahead and stamp on this piece here. What I recommend you doing if you were at home and had this punch would be to stamp first, then punch. But you will get it in this form from me that's already punched out. But luckily these stamps are very clear and see-through, so you should be able to line it up in the center fairly well. And just press down and pull off. Awesome, that one turned out great. I'm going to keep this color out for just a minute because we're going to use it for our next part of our card. I will need the terracotta tile. I'm going to grab also this Daffodil Delight right here. It's just a little bit lighter than the Bumblebee, which is the color that coordinates with the set. And I'm using that Seaside Spray, which is another in color. All right. So what we need to do now is go ahead and take this stamp here, and we are going to ink the whole thing into that yellow, just like that. Okay, flip it over. You can see it there. Then I'm going to take the sponge. So it came with 1 circle sponge, and I've cut that into quarters. And I'm going to use that to dab on some ink. So right here, I'm going to go into my terracotta tile. And then I'm going to just go straight to my stamp and sponge onto the stamp like that. We'll do the same thing with that Seaside. A little bit there. Get it all nice and colored. And just sponge on a little bit to that bottom. Not too much. And put those colors away so they don't get crazy. And then we're going to stamp this right in the center of our bottom of our stitch rectangle. Right there. Press hard, firm, and lift up. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit and do another one to the side without even inking again. And we'll do one more to this other side here. Awesome. You see that? has that really cool rainbow look to it now. And because I have the yellow as our base underneath it, it mixes so cool with those top colors and bottom colors to make even more. Great way to use our sponge there. All right. Next, what we need to do is grab our stencils. We have 4 stencils that came with the kit, and let me grab them out. The first one we're going to use is kind of more of a mountain look to it. So it looks like this, and there's all these different fun edges, and then you can even flip it over and have even different stenciling on this side as well. We're going to grab our Seaside spray, again, to create kind of this background of mountains. And my tip to you first, what you would need to do is to grab something like this. This is a full adhesive. You can see how there's a backup dimensional on there. Post-it note. And so when I put this on, this will help me kind of secure where I want my stencil to be. Let me go ahead and I'm going to start with this bottom one here. And I'm going to put this right underneath it, which will also protect the image that I just stamped. Okay, make sure that's good and looks pretty straight. And then let's grab our Seaside spray sponge. We'll ink that up. And you can do a couple different ways of sponging. You can do more of a rub across, like that. Or you can even do more of a press down and kind of squish. Kind of like a circular motion more than a rub. Just depends on your style, and you want to make sure you're pressing that stencil down so that way it's getting along those edges nice and great. Okay. Once it looks good to you, go ahead and remove that Post-it note. We'll lift that up like there. Awesome. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's go to our next one. Let's see. We can do this one right behind it a little bit. A little bit there. Same kind of idea. Put the stencil where you want it to be, then put on your Post-it note or something to secure it down, but keep your stuff underneath it safe. And go ahead and ink it up. And we'll get some of that sponging done again. Stenciling is super easy and has been around for a long time. I remember using stencils as a little girl when you were trying to write something or learn how to trace shapes. That same kind of idea with these stencils. All right, so I have that one there. I want to just make a little bit more behind that. And we can do even like a little mountain here. And I'm going to double layer it. So what happens is that I'm going to go over the ink that I already did. And it will create even something even more awesome and has different colors to it. It's just like that. I'm going to do this one a little bit lighter actually though. Just by going softer. Okay. Go ahead and lift that up. And now we have this awesome mountain kind of background. Isn't that really cool? I love that. If you wanted to take that sponge and you can keep on coloring down with the color to make it blend into your flowers, feel free to do that as well. Just very lightly, just to have it around that to make it meet. So it doesn't look like that's just kind of floating. See how that works there? All right, let's close up that color and let's get ready to assemble this card. The stencils are really easy to clean. You can either use a wipe and wipe it down, or you can even put it into your sink and do a light wipe down as well. I can even grab my reusable wipe and do a soft, gentle wipe like that. Any way that works for you, but make sure you do it before the next time or else you might forget and have some coloring transfer over, and you don't want that. We're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. And we need to, you know what I forgot to do was to add my ribbon. I usually will do that to the back of that one. Let's see if we can be sneaky about that. Or maybe we'll just add a bow to it. Usually what I would do is that I would attach it first to this piece and then I glue it down. Instead, I've totally spaced it. And so we'll pretend that I do it that way. Instead, we'll probably just grab that ribbon and I'll make a bow on the side of it. We could maybe do like a loose one behind it that doesn't have the ends. So let's try that. We'll see how this looks. And we'll just grab a glue dot to help us attach that. We're going to cover up most of this ribbon. So put a little dot right there and see if we can't lay it so that way, kind of like that. There we go. Totally fixed it, right? Let's take off those dimensionals. The kit came with some mini dimensionals, which you could totally use for this part, but I like to save those for little items like the banner right here. So we flip that one over and I'll grab those mini dimensionals. Just like that. And then we will add this to the bottom of our scene. There we go. Congratulations. And let's go ahead and make our bow. We'll just do 2 bunny ears on the spool so you keep it on there. And then pull it through. Looks crazy. See that? But that's the beauty of it being on the spool. We get to play with it a lot. And if we don't even like what we've currently created, we can unpull it all and start again. That's why I liked attaching my bows after and not having them as part of this background right here. We do that fake bow look. All right. That looks pretty good. You could always play with bows forever, right? To make them absolutely perfect, but we'll just keep it going. We'll get our corners off and grab a glue dot. Right to that, not to the dot, press it down, pinch, and then we're going to set it to the side here. In fact, I'm going to have it attached a little bit to my rectangle die, and so that it attaches even better. Love it. See, that didn't turn out too bad, right? Let's go ahead and grab our bone folder, and we do need to embellish this one. Maybe just add just a little bit embellishments. I have the Elegant Faceted Gems, and you can choose any of these colors. Would work great. There's 3 different shades. I'm going to go ahead and do one little one and one big one, just at the angle to the left of it, kind of like that. Awesome. All right, there's our first card for the kit. Super fun, and we create those great blue mountains. All right, let's go ahead and go on to our next one, which is going to be very similar in design. That same stitched rectangle center. Then we have an embossing behind it. We are using a little bit of linen thread. This time we have the clouds that we are doing, and we stamped our trees on the bottom. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay, our stitch rectangle right there. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our saying first on that very top. The here's to you. And I'm using the Pretty Peacock, which is my favorite of these in colors. I'm going to be so sad when that leaves me at the end of April. Early May, like May 2nd. Okay, here's to you. And we'll just stamp that right at the very top. Press down, lift up. Looks great. All right, then we're going to do our very bottom. So we're going to grab those trees, and I just removed that, stamped it, cleaned it off, removed it, and I'm using that same block. So when you get a paper pumpkin kit, it only comes with 1 block, and honestly, that's all you would need as long as you have ways to clean your stamps. All right, so I'm getting my old olive out now as well, and I'm going to first go ahead and take it like this. And we're going to ink up just half of our tree in that old olive. So since it's clear, we can see it pretty well. And I'm going to go like this. And you see where this part is off and this part's on. And I'm just going to ink it up. Just like that. Do a couple taps. Then we're going to turn it and go to our pretty peacock up here. And finish that inking for the top. And make sure that you don't leave like a white gap. You don't want these trees to be floating. And then we're going to come over here and just have it stamp in that bottom left corner. Like that. Love it. And we're going to kind of make it, stagger it a little bit and come a little bit below. And don't ink it again. And do a kind of a shadow. We're going to try and make kind of like a valley. I'm going to have another dark image over here and do something very similar. Okay, so great time to practice. We'll do half the green again, the old olive. There we go. We'll come over here. We'll grab our pretty peacock in halves, like that. And we'll stamp it over here in this corner now. Just like that. And we'll add another... Just kind of play with it. I think we'll put this one right about there. That looks awesome. We'll even add maybe one more little light one right there, kind of making a little valley. Let's go ahead and grab that and wash it off. And remove. And then we can grab our next one for next time. All right, let's go ahead and put these ones away. And I'm going to grab my pool party ink for our next one. And we're going to do the cloud stencil. There we go. And a sponge again. All right, so let's get that lined up. The cloud stencil is pretty fun. It looks like this. Has lots of different shapes. Has it where you can flip it upside down, right side up, however way you want it to go. I'm going to go ahead and attach it so that way... You see my here's to you isn't being stamped on or inked over too much. Not this time. And then I'm also going to cover up these trees a little bit. And I'll put my full adhesive post-it note on here on the bottom to help me keep that down. But remember, you do still want to press down on your stencil to keep it firm. Here's my pool party, which is a very light blue. We want these clouds to be very subtle. And I'm just going to sponge them on like that. Make sure you try to get those shapes really nice and well. Those on all those corners. Okay, bottom one. The fun thing about this is that you don't really know what it looks like until you remove that stencil, and then you can see how awesome it is. For this one, we're going to stencil it once, and then we're going to move it and do it again to create even more layers of clouds. A lot of times when you see clouds, they're overlapping, and they have a darker cloud and a lighter cloud, and you can just kind of see the images that way. All right, let me go ahead and see how that first go looked. Oh, I love it. It looks really, really cool. I really like that. All right, let's go ahead and take the stencil, and now we're just going to kind of play with it. And you're just going to move it around to where maybe you think some more clouds could go. I'm actually going to use some of these littler ones to attach to some of these big ones. What do you think? Maybe shift it down this way. We'll see how that turns out. I'll attach this again, just like that. Oh, I have that big one right there. I could have that one go. I think I'm going to leave that one alone, though. I'm not going to sponge that one. I do want to get this corner one up here and sponge another cloud right there, and these two little ones. That one's fun because it goes into the tree just a little bit, that really tall tree. But if you've been in the mountains, you know that you are literally in the clouds when you're up there. So close to the sky. Or at least you feel like you're close to it. Oh, love it. Look how that turned out. Super pretty. I love that cloud one. That one could be fun for so many things. All right, let's grab my favorite linen thread. This actually came with the paper pumpkin kit. We're going to go ahead and attach it to the bottom because I want to kind of not hide, but just kind of cover a little bit where those two colors meet. And just wrap it around twice and give yourself enough room to tie a bow. I usually go about 3 to 4 inches on each end, and that gives me enough room, usually. If I don't have enough room, then I just will tie a knot and call it good. Do this bottom one. We'll wrap it around and pull. Awesome. Trim off our ends and grab some dimensionals, put on the back of this. All right, now we do need to go ahead and attach all of our pieces for our card base. So we need our basic white for the inside, that awesome embossed folder, and we do like to use liquid glue or glue dots to attach these, just so that way the adhesive will stick where it needs to stick and not rip the paper, because all those grooves and bumps, sometimes it'll catch on that paper and it'll just pull it, and you don't want that to happen. When things are using liquid glue like this, you could always use a heavier block to help hold it down for a little bit to make sure it's nice and secure as well. All right, let's go ahead and get some glue on this one. Maybe I'm just about, there we go, out of this one. Flip this one over, attach our white. You want to give yourself borders on all of the ends of this, about 1/8 of an inch. The more you stamp, the better you get at just kind of eyeballing that. I use that liquid glue, which is great because I totally did a slip. I don't know if you saw that or not. All right, go ahead and use your bone folder, help you crease it, and grab the dimensionals off, and we'll attach this one. This is another great graduation card or even a wedding card. Here's to you. You could even stamp in the inside that other saying that we aren't using today, which was all the best for a happy, healthy, and prosperous year. That would be another great one. This could even be a great birthday card. Okay, so now the tricky part is if we want to center it, if we want to have it a little bit over. I'm going to have mine a little bit over, so there's more of a border on this side than there is on this side. All right, and there we go. Card number 2 is done for our kit. And you see how the stencil is the same but different? Love that. Super cool look. All right, set that one aside and we'll get ready for our next one. So the next one we're doing, let me grab it, has some extra items. I went ahead and punched out a 1-inch circle. I have 2 sets of that stitch rectangle, a larger and a bigger size, and then I've stamped on a piece of basic white, that little saying, and attached that as well. Then these ones came from that Mountain Air, those dies, and I've cut those out in that Night of Navy. All right, let's go ahead and get all of our pieces and get ready to do our stenciling. So I have this in the So Soft Saffron, or Soft, I always say this one wrong. And I don't have it nearby, so I can't tell you, but I know it's saffron. I don't know if it's So Saffron or Soft Saffron. I think it's So Saffron. All right, and we have our stars. These ones are so fun. They're great because they start off big and they go smaller and more spaced out at the bottom, which can create some great images. I'm gonna go ahead and cover up my whole thing pretty much. And if you're doing something like that, you could even rip your Post-it note and make it so that way you have a spot on the bottom to help you hold it down and so a spot on the top, kind of like that. All right, for this color though, I am using, I believe I used the Bumblebee, this color right here. I want it to be a little bit darker so it can actually stand out on that yellow. We didn't want a light yellow on a light yellow. And we are going to grab our sponge, which, let's see if I've lost it somewhere. We'll use this one right here. Okay, just go ahead and grab that. Make sure you're holding that stencil down and start with your stars. I'm going to start dark on the top And I'm going to have it go lighter as I go down. And for the lighter ones, I'm just going to do more of a dab versus how I'm kind of doing more of a rub on the top. And you can kind of see, I know like I said, it's hard to see the full look until you can take it completely off. You don't have to go all the way down on this because I will be covering up with the mountains. But it's good to have that fill-in space too, so you don't know where your mountains will actually be. Okay, moment of truth. Should we reveal it? How did it turn out? I'm going to put my ink away. Take off that one and this one. Oh, that turned out awesome. Look at those stars. So pretty. I love that. What a fun look, right? Great background and really easy. I would just, again, go ahead and wipe this part off and I'll be ready for the next time I'd want to use my stencil. Love it. All right, the next part. So we need our sun, which I have in that terracotta tile so it matches, which is kind of a really cool color for a sun. And then I have some extra pieces here. So I have our pretty peacock in our rectangle right there. And I have some of our mountains. And I do need a piece of white. Let me see if I've lost it or not. I always have little pieces around though. Hold on. Let me grab it. It might have been fallen off earlier because it's just, oh, here is some. So when I cut the basic white out, I often get these leftover pieces, which I always have lying around. And I think, oh, I'll use it for something, which sometimes I do, and sometimes they end up just going to recycle because I can't use nearly all of them. I'm going to go ahead and use a Seaside spray. We'll open up that ink, and we're going to grab that new saying at the very bottom, and let's attach it to a clear block. I'll just take off this one from earlier. We wiped it clean so it's good to go, and we'll attach this one. I can plop it on just like that, but if you want to make sure, since it's words, to be straight, you can use your grid paper, take your clear block, and attach it this way. And line it up like that, and then go straight over it. I'm going to go at an angle for this one to give me some extra space. There we go. And I know that it's straight and good to go. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one on this little piece of basic white on the far end of either side. We're going to trim off the extra. There we go. And just take your paper snips and trim it a little bit right there. Perfect. We are going to use dimensionals on the back of this one when it comes time to attach it. So have those ready to go. And then let's get ready to attach our mountains. So this one was a leftover piece from something else I was working on, and I thought it would be fun just to kind of add that behind this one. What do you guys think? Wouldn't that be pretty? Let me go ahead and grab some liquid glue, and we're going to add this kind of the background, which matches our next rectangle, so it totally works. Just angle it just a little bit so it has kind of a shadow of that mountain. And this one, we're going to attach first with just liquid glue, but we only want it on the bottom. And I'll show you why in just a second. Grab that back in, and we're going to go right about here. I told you we would cover some of those stars and line up your edges there. Then we're going to grab this one and use dimensionals. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add our sun. Flip it over. You could ink some of this up with your leftover sponge and just give it a little bit more color. I left that first one just plain, but as you know, the sun has lots of colors to it. So just sponge away around the edges. Add just a little bit of liquid glue. That one is almost gone. I try to use it up to the last drop. And now we're just going to slide our sun kind of behind our mountains here as it's getting ready to set. Just like that. And our stars are starting to come out, and our sun is. We could probably even have it go a little bit more, but I like it right there. So we're going to leave it alone. But that's why we only glued the bottom, so we had a spot to slide that in. All right. Now we need to add our mountain peaks. And these ones we're going to add dimensionals to, so that way they can pop up. But I'm only going to add dimensionals to the top. Like that. I'll flip it, and we're going to make sure that we have it on the edge over here, and that we're covering up all the blues on this side here. And that looks pretty awesome. Last, we just need to add our label with our dimensionals here. And if you want, you can have it covering that stitch line. I want to have it so you can still see that stitch from the bottom. Like that. Love it. All right, add that to our rectangle over here. Create all these awesome layers in color. These colors I'm using are not my usual. I'm very much a monotone stamper, in many cases at least. Sometimes I'm exciting with colors, but for the most part, I'm pretty basic. So this one was fun. It has lots of different untraditional colors to create these awesome scenic looks. All right, there we go. And we'll just attach this to the center of our Seaside Spray card base. And it looks like it's good to go. Oh, I should need to add our Whisper White for the center, for the inside I should say. So go ahead and grab that. And then we'll get ready to use our bone folder to crease our score line. Your cards will all come pre-folded like this and scored, and with all the little pieces inside. Oh, and that moved when I did that, so let's fix that real quick. That would be sad if I found that later on, so I'm going to make sure that I fix that right away, and then we can fold it. There we go. Just like that. All right, look how pretty that looked. Oh, and we just changed this one up a little bit from our original by sponging a little bit more around that sun and then adding that background mountain as well. Super pretty. Love it. All right, our last one. You guys ready? This is using the sun stencil. Looks like that. And this one has no words on it. You can see that it's blank. And I've added some trees. Let me see if we can focus. There we go. See that better? But it is blank. You can put in this one whatever you want. And it can be used for literally anything, which is the beauty of a blank card. All right, so let's go ahead and get our pieces out and show you how I made them. And then we'll do our stenciling. So there's our stitch rectangle, and that's in the old olive. I have this one in the bumblebee. And then we're going to stencil on that one. And I just want to show you the trees that I've cut out as well from those mountain dies. We'll use those in just a minute. And so there's actually no stamping. I'm using the ink for the sun, but other than that, these are all just cut out of paper. Then these ones right here, I went ahead and cut out the mountains, and I did it at the same time, and I went over it again with a stitch rectangle. Let me show you that edge right there. So I wanted that to continue on in our mountains, to have that outline of the stitch, and you kind of see how I did it here. That mountain's that size, and I put them together, and I cut it out from it to create that stitch, which I love. Turns out way fun, which is a little bit different than this one. I didn't do that technique on this one, so it has those, the stitch will stop, but then we have it starting back up here at the end. So super fun. All right, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and stencil first. Let's grab our sun. This one is the flimsiest one out of all of them. So you have to be careful when you use this one, and just be mindful that it will move with ease. And so we want to put that sun, you can put the sun wherever you want. I'm going to kind of go center, and I'm going to have it so that I can put this piece down here, kind of help me, and this piece down here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use that bumblebee color again, like we used for our stars, because we want it to be seeable on bumblebee. So this is bumblebee on bumblebee. And we're going to grab our yellow sponge and go ahead and dab it, ink it up, And I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to start with my center because that's where I want the most color to be. Just like that. I told you, these ones are very fragile. Well, they're just more flimsy than the other ones. Probably because they have more cutouts for it, right? So we're just going to go through and just press firmly, but don't shimmy it too much. Even with those, me holding it and with my Post-it notes trying to help us keep it down, we just want to be extra careful. Okay. Kind of make sure that's just going through. And do a couple rounds if you want. Hopefully we're good to go. Should we lift it up and see? All right, moment of truth. Post-it note removed. Oh, wow. That is so cool. That looks so pretty, and I love how it gets lighter here. This will be covered up anyway, but what a fun idea to have that sun and even different shades. Love it. Great stencil. All right, let's put that color away because we are done with ink. Let's get our mountains. We're going to glue our mountains together, and then we'll pop up all of them with dimensionals. So let's grab our liquid glue, see if there's any more left. We'll do that front one, which we know because it has that stitch bottom, and attach it to this one, like that. And then let's go ahead and grab, I made a little mess. Let me just wipe that real quick. There we go. And let's grab our dimensionals and attach this to the bottom of our sun. And you could probably use the big ones for this one. I just have these ones closest to me. Remove the backs. There we go, almost. And flip it. Now we just want to line this one up so that way we're covering that bottom stitch. And look like we're continuing on with our stitches right here on the sides. Oh, I love that. Look at that. How cool that 3D look. I love it. Okay, next we need to add our trees. We're going to glue, these trees are the exact same size, but we're going to make one look taller than the other by gluing one down and popping one up and just having them shift the location. So this one is going to be further down, and we'll glue it right there. And then this one, we're going to go ahead and add the dimensionals to the back. We'll do 2 of those mini ones. And then we're going to put this one higher up for the tree line right there and still have it overlap just a little bit. There we go. Ooh, I love that. It's super awesome. And then grab your linen thread and let's attach it. And for this one, I actually had it attached to both of them like that. I'm going to go ahead and do it differently on this one and see how it looks. We'll do the same double wrapping like we did before. Just hold it right here and then let it come down. And we'll tie that bow. First, you want to tie a knot and pull it a little tight. You don't want this to be too loose. If it does get loose, you can always go on the back side of it and add some adhesive to help it go tighter. Okay. Play with your ends a little bit, get the size you want your bow to be. Kind of like that. There we go. Super playful bow today. Awesome. All right, now we can go ahead and attach that with the liquid glue or dimensionals if you want. Totally up to you at that point. I actually think I am going to add dimensionals this time since I had that linen thread on just this one layer. Dimensionals might be handy to help pop it up just a little bit and make it attach nicer. You could still use liquid glue, but you'll just notice a little bit of bumps on the bottom where it can't lay down flat. All right, attach this to our Ditch rectangle old olive. Love it. And lastly, let's get the inside of our basic white. And then we'll attach that to the front. Flip. So you guys will have to tell me which one of these are your favorite. Do you like the colors in this one? Super untraditional, right? But it's great. There's no stamping, and this is just a blank card for you to use for whatever you want. For your favorite outdoorsy person who just might need something beautiful to look at with a nice message from you. All right, let's go ahead and fold that and crease it. And there we go. A beautiful sunset, sunrise. What do you think? Card with mountains and trees. Then we had our sunset for sure. So let's say this is our sunrise card. And this is our sunset with our stars coming out. And then we have our trees with our clouds that we stenciled on. They look amazing. And we have our two-tone trees there. And also our flower card with our congratulations, a little bit of ribbon. So this one's a little bit more feminine, which I love. And that really awesome rainbow looking flowers in the center. All right, you guys, I hope you had a great time watching today and have learned so many fun things to use with your Paper Pumpkin kit. Please subscribe to Paper Pumpkin from me so you can get next month's kit. And when I do an extra video just like this, you can go ahead and get and make those extras as well. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.